What made the high school legend become a legend? We had a teacher who was infamous for not letting you go to the bathroom no matter what. I mean so much so that if you accidentally started your period in class, she'd make you wait. This happened. So there was a girl who we'll call Katie in class, who tended to be a bit of a troublemaker. Katie hated the teacher, because she'd begged to go to the bathroom and got shut down every time. At the end of the year, Katie asked one more time to go to the bathroom, the teacher said no. Katie asked another time 5 minutes later. The teacher said no again. 5 minutes after that, Katie asked again, but said that the teacher was not going to like what happened if the teacher didn't let her go. The teacher hit the roof and said that if she said one more thing, Katie would be sent to the principal. Katie shrugged and said this is on you, then, and pissed on her seat, right where she was. The teacher sent her to the principal, who called her parents, one of which was a urologist. Her father yelled at the principal. The teacher ended up in deep shit. According to other kids, she never denied another kid the bathroom again. Katie was a fucking legend. It's pretty stupid, but a friend wore a Walmart hot dog costume and for some reason everyone thought it was funny, started chanting hot dog kid, and he won the best Halloween costume award of that year. Next year he wore a penguin costume, and as he stepped up on stage he ripped it off to reveal the hot dog costume underneath. Everybody fucking lost it. Sadly we have a rule that you can't win 2 years in a row, so while he didn't get the prize we all knew who had the best costume that day. That is how the legend of Hot Dog Kid was born at my high school. Edit, I have been provided a picture of the costumes by the Hot Dog Kid. The senior class was gathered in the gym for a pep rally type event, but there weren't any planned events, so we students were getting bored and restless. In an effort to engage us, teachers offered to let kids tell jokes into the microphone. The very first guy that goes to the microphone triumphantly asks, "How deep are we gonna go, men?" And every male in the stands shouted back, "Balls deep." How deep? Balls deep. The call and response quickly ended when the teachers swarmed him and took away the microphone. Jokes were over for the day. Later in the year they hold another senior event in the gym, but instead of jokes they let kids sing karaoke. Fun. Until the microphone goes missing between songs. Everyone is seated in the stands when that same guy stands up just laughing his ass off because someone handed him the microphone. The teachers say, "Don't." And he just keeps laughing. He manages to ask a single question into the microphone. How deep? For the first time I understood school pride as 900 students, even the girls, joined in shouting balls deep. Legend. Someone installed games onto the school's server. There were a bunch of N64 emulators, Peggle, and some other games. But then there were also LAN games that could be played against anyone/everyone in the school, including Counter-Strike and Halo. Sometimes you'd go on and there'd be no one, other times there'd be 10v10 fight in Blood Gulch. It lasted at least 10 years, but don't know if it has been taken down since. Edit, this blew up way more than I was expecting. For those of you asking, this happened around 2008 in California, but I'm glad this has been experienced across the world and multiple generations of gamers. Some of the games you all had on your school computers were before my time, and some were just coming out on consoles. Thank you for the gold and other awards. I hope there continues to be ways around the system so that younger generations can always have this experience. His last name was Alcock and he ran for student council. His campaign posters consisted simply of his slogan, "Part man, part machine, Alcock." Halfway through my last year of high school someone managed to put a ceramic toilet on top of our multi-story gymnasium. I have no idea how that feat was achieved. The school staff didn't know either, nor could they figure out how to get it off the roof once they found it. As a result it remained on the gym for the remainder of my time there. I never found out who did it, but I will admire them until my dying day. Colombian kid was getting bullied until he kicked his bully upside the head big time. That little prick of a bully didn't know Carlos, the Colombian, competed in taekwondo tournaments at the national level for Colombia. There was a kid who was being initiated into a Laotian gang where he was supposed to get jumped, beat up, by his fellow gang members. In theory you're supposed to just take it to prove how tough you are, but this guy had competed in the Pan Am Games for some kind of martial arts. So he kicked everyone's ass. When I was in high school, Doc Martens were a thing. And there were gangs who would roll people for their docs, basically stealing them. After this happened to this really quiet, nice guy a few times, our friend, a martial arts enthusiast who was solid muscle, went with him, both of them wearing docs. He beat up 8 guys, with witnesses, and took all of their docs, including the 2 pairs they stole from the first guy. The martial arts guy never said anything, either, but of course the story got around. In 9th grade, one of our teachers got sick, so we got a sub. And this kid just starts talking in a strong Spaniard accent, like super well, and convinces the teacher he is from Spain. And he talks this way for 3 months. It was hilarious. And when another kid tried talking as a Spaniard too, he got really upset and accused the other kid of mocking his culture, etc. Then when the year ended we had to do a presentation and our teacher who got sick came. So the kid just nodded through the whole presentation while his group mates talked. It was hilarious. I almost forgot, I have another one. Our AP English teacher went out on maternity leave, and we got a sub who did not give a single shit. We were studying Romeo and Juliet, and she just decided to throw on the 1968 Zeffirelli film version. She just brought out a book and started reading. Well, she didn't think that out too well, because Juliet gets topless in that one. Some little shit said, "Mom, I didn't get that scene, could we rewind it?" She barely looked up. Totally missed the boobs. 5 whole students pulled this, including a girl, before she noticed. Those 5 were gods in the school for a little bit. Not my story, but my friend's. My buddy went to a military boarding school for high school. Very strict and regimented, with little to no tolerance for misbehavior. Multiple years of this environment must have pushed someone off the deep end, because during my buddy's 2nd year, someone started shitting in urinals. Big, sloppy, shameless dookies. At least once a month for 3 years, these turds would appear. The culprit became known as the Phantom Shitter, and despite the efforts of a task force specifically assembled to put an end to the nefarious poops, the Phantom Shitter was never captured. This person became a legend at this boarding school because of their stealth, conviction, and utter lack of shame. My buddy kept in touch with one of his instructors over the years, and found out years later that a copycat shitter had briefly popped up, but he was discovered and expelled after only a couple dookies. He lacked the finesse of the mysterious original. Year 10, head boy has to be picked, England. And it's picked by vote. It's a year group of about 150 students. So we had the obvious, popular, well-liked by everyone kids. We had the popular lads, the football captain and the sophisticated, obvious choice. Me and my little posse of in-betweeners, I suggest fuck that. We pick one guy from the Forgotten Kids Club, let's call him Carl. This guy has pretty below average grades, not a lick of athletic ability and his social abilities. Well, he's part of a group of kids that stays behind and spends lunch in the teacher's class because he got bullied so bad on the schoolyard. Carl found himself named head boy to his absolute shock due to the minority being united and the knobheads all split and vying for position. He was a good dude as well, really committed himself to it. His grades improved, he became a better speaker, the lad glowed up considerably, and by the end of year 11 we had a whole army of people carrying him down the street for the final end of exam celebration. We would just sing his praises despite not knowing him that well, and it just caught on. Dick move, I know, but we did genuinely like him and thought it would be good for him. I like to take credit for suggesting the whole movement, but really it was just a testament to how one downtrodden dude can rise to the occasion and became an absolute fucking ambassador for an entire school. He won over everyone. Dude was impossible to hate. Joe Sticker, class of 1969 at my HS. The guy didn't exist. He was created by a group of my friends as a mid-year transfer student with a totally fabricated deep background that was so smooth Joe even made the yearbook with a picture unavailable caption. Our legend was actually the gym teacher. He became a legend by getting hit by a bus, getting up, getting on the bus and asking if everyone was okay. He ended up getting fired about 5 years after I graduated because he was caught soaking raisins in vodka and then eating them over the course of the day. Never change Mr. Lev. Edit, looks like the raisins thing may not have been true, as someone else linked an obit about him passing away just a couple days ago. We loved our rumors, so when someone told me that I just believed it because it seemed like something he would have done. Schools tend to not honor people fired for doing something really bad after they pass away. I still can't believe he's gone though. The man was the Terminator. This guy didn't become a high school legend until the last 10 minutes of our last day at school. I went to school with this kid for 5 years who, throughout all of high school, was bullied for the way he looked, considered a teacher's pet, generally unpopular with most of the school, etc. No one knew much about him at all, apart from the reasons he was, unfortunately, bullied and ostracized so hard. On the last day of our final year at high school, we had a leavers ceremony where teachers gave speeches, students were given awards, etc. Typical painstaking sit down for 2 hours while you watch all the accomplished sports kids drown in trophies ceremony. Out of nowhere, the principal introduced a performance from this kid, the notorious unpopular teacher's pet. We were all so confused, what could he possibly be performing? He got up on our school's theater stage as if he were to do a stand-up special. He then proceeded to perform a 10-minute-long Adult Swim-style sketch in which he did spot-on impressions of not only every single teacher in the school, in front of them, but the exam invigilators, the cleaners and even the fucking dinner ladies. This guy had fully produced and scripted an entire one-man sketch where he played all the characters being every member of staff in the school, for the very last time we would all be in that hall together. It was truly a then everybody clapped moment as he got a standing ovation from every teacher in the hall, and all 120 students who relentlessly bullied him all these years prior. It felt like a massive middle finger to everyone who underestimated and ignored him. This mystery kid, who'd been bullied and ignored for his entire 5 years at our high school, became a legend within 10 minutes on the very last hour of the very last day of our time in that place. And then I never saw him again. Wonder where he is now. When I was in 11th grade, a guy a year older than me, in grade 12, saved a grade 9 girl from being abducted by her estranged father in the school parking lot. Her dad hadn't been in her life for years and had previously tried to take her from her elementary school. This being her first year in high school, I guess he tried again. The 12th grader heard her scream as her dad tried to force her into his car and he ran over and got involved, apparently punching the dad before the dad got back in his car and sped off. Guy was a legit hero at the school. When I was a junior in HS, the wrestling team would hang out in the bathroom at lunch and pack lips in the stalls. There was a kid who was probably on the spectrum who'd also hang in the bathroom every day and eat his lunch there, so we befriended him and tried to give him some banter. I went to a midnight screening of Superbad and the first time McLovin came on the screen I was like, my god, that looks just like a slightly skinnier version of Stall Kid. So the next day at school I saw him in the hall and during our usual daps I was like, yo, it's McLovin. That caught on and for the rest of his time in high school everyone called him McLovin. He liked it, then he was voted prom king as a senior. Hope you're well, McLovin.